Welcome to Solutions Studio. This is a free series on C programming language. If you like these videos, please subscribe to follow along with this series. Also, please like and leave a comment and share the video to help spread this series. Hello and welcome to this episode, and in this episode we have a small discussion about passing arguments to functions by a reference. You know that in the previous episodes we have discussed two ways of passing values to functions. One was by value and one was by reference. And you also know that passing arguments by value means that we make a copy of that value and we give it to the function so that the original value is not being manipulated. But in fact, with passing arguments by reference, we actually provide the real variable to the function, and whatever changes that the function brings, it will be brought to the real variable. Now, by default, all of the arguments that are passed to a function that is by value, except the only exception that we have is arrays, and arrays are always passed by reference. Because if the function is receiving a large data object, it will take quite some time to copy that data object, and it will be ahead to the performance. So that's why passing by reference is also very important. Another important feature to remember about passing arguments to functions by reference is that in the previous episodes we saw that functions always return only one value to its caller, and it's not possible to return more than one value. But now, with passing arguments by reference, a function can also return multiple values by modifying the caller's variables. And that was a little bit of explanation that we had about passing arguments to functions by reference. Stay tuned as we go into more details of this feature in the coming episodes. Hello and welcome to this episode, and in this episode we are going to have a review of pass by value so you can become ready for studying pass by reference in the coming episodes. As you know that we have been using a pass by value for many of our programs in the past. Now here we have a function which the value of n, the value of the parameter, is passed to this function by value. Now let's go and see the main program. The main program has a variable called number. The value of number is 5. First, we want to print the original value of this number, which is going to be 5. Then we are going to use the cube by value function. We will give it the number 5, and this function is going to cube the number or multiply the number 3 times by itself and then return the value. And then once that value has been returned by this function, we are going to store it back to the number, basically replacing the new number instead of 5. And once again we are going to print the new value of the number. Let's go and run this program and you will see how it works. As you can see, the original value of number was 5, and once we had given this number to the function, and the function returned the cube of this number, and we stored the cube back into this number, and we printed the number, and the number has become 125. And that's basically passing by value works. Stay tuned as we discuss how to pass by reference in the next episode. Hello and welcome to this episode, and in this episode we are going to pass arguments by reference to a function, and you will be able to see how to implement pass by reference to functions. Now you can see that we have this function cube by reference. This function is going to take a pointer variable instead of a normal variable. Now let's go to the main function. Here in the main function you can see that we have the number, which it has the value of 5. First we want to print the original value of this number, which is going to be 5. Then we are going to invoke the cube by reference function on this number. As you can see that when invoking this function, we use this address operator on the variable as well. Because this variable is a pointer, we use this address operator alongside the variable. And finally, we want to print the new value of the number on the screen. And let's go and see this function. As you can see, this function is basically no different than any other function. It takes a variable and it's going to multiply that variable to itself 3 times. These two asterisks, they mean multiplication, and the asterisk that is next to the variable, that is a pointer operator. And that's it. Let's go and execute this program. Now you can see that the original value of number is 5 and the new value of number is 25, although basically we have used the same variable for both numbers because the value of the original number has been changed by this function. And that's it for this episode. I hope this has been informative for you, and I would like to see you in the next episode. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome, and in this episode let's go and have a comparison between pass by value and pass by reference to functions. Now as you can see in here, in pass by value, in the cube by value function, we are giving a normal and ordinary variable as an argument to the function. But here in the pass by reference, this variable is a pointer variable and not a normal and ordinary function. Another difference that you might see is that in passing by value, we get a return value and we store it back to the number. But here in cube by reference, we do not get a return number. Basically, the number will be manipulated by the function itself and there is no need for returning a value. Also here, another difference is that when we are passing the argument to the function, in the normal and ordinary variables, there's just the name of the variable. But here in the passing by reference, we have the address operator alongside the variable as well. Another difference is that, as you can see in here, in the cube by value function, we have a return keyword. Basically, this function is going to be returning some value. However, here, cube by reference, we do not have a return keyword. Instead, the value which is going to be returned by this statement or by this calculation is going to be directly stored in the variable itself, and basically this assignment is happening inside of the function instead of happening outside of the function like in here. And these were some differences that I wanted for you to notice and see the difference of passing arguments by value or by reference to a function. Thank you for being with me in this episode and stay tuned.